Hello, welcome back to the updated, whatever we're calling this, updated review set. I am joined once again by not Cranberry, but a random music producer. Hello.
Yeah, I'm very happy to be here. Do you know why I'm happy to be here?
I can only imagine.
Because I am Pharrell Williams.
Oh, and he's hit song.
He's happy. He's
He's
Mr. Happy himself.
yeah. Clap your hands. It would have been really good if I could have thought of any other Pharrell song and then referenced it instead of Happy, but I could not think of one in that short frame of time.
Yeah,
Uh,
he's got he didn't he like help with blurred lines or something?
yeah, oh yeah, he's in the music video.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah. Board lines, and that's the joke. Laugh now, please. Thank you.
Okay, well let's go.
Yeah, it's Awoken. It's time. I think this one's gonna be shorter than Hellhorn, but I guess we'll see.
Highly doubt.
I don't know. There's less cards to talk about because Awoken has had less changes. Yeah. Anything else? I think we should just begin, shall we?
Let's go.
All right. So there's no like imp set to talk about here. First of all, there's no like, hey, let's talk about all of the cards that say imp on them. Uh,
There are no imps. You are correct.
Yes, but they're like Hellhorn is unique in that there's like they have a set of cards that synergize together, I guess is what I
Mhm.
wanted to say there. And that's not going to be the case here. I think I want to talk about Rail Spike.
Yeah, I'm a little higher on Awoken since we last talked about it. Not a ton,
Mm-hmm.
but I've played more with Sapwood since, and
Have you?
I've now found it easier to get a bunch of energy in this clan combination.
I think that I read this take from Jorbs' spreadsheet actually,
Hmm.
which said that Awoken's Rail Spike is a card that you play and have a weak turn now to have a few better turns later. And thinking about it like that has made me enjoy taking it a lot more often.
Hmm.
Where
Although
you,
looking at our most improved card in all of Monster Train, Pyregro down below, I think
yeah,
that's a better example
yeah,
of that philosophy.
yeah. There's a few of them, right? There's a few in
Hmm.
Awoken for sure. Rail Spike is just I think it's fine. I think that Rail Spike is the type of card that if it shows up in a clan reward, you're not skipping that clan reward basically because it's really you draw two and you get to have two random cards to play for free instead of whatever you were going to play in hand, and then those cards are free for the rest of the combat.
Yeah.
It's just fine, and like the theoretical upside of this card is huge. If you draw like seven or
Hmm.
eight cards off of it, you make your whole deck free.
Yeah.
It's a lot better.
It's got some cool stuff going on with it for sure.
I think that when we made the reviews last time, we just said that this Rail Spike was bad
Yeah,
or
probably more or
underwhelming.
less.
I think that it is just like it's just fine. Like it's just fine, and sometimes it's really good.
Mhm.
Snare, I don't really have much more or different to say. I don't think.
Yeah, I mean, I don't remember what I said about it last time. I'm probably a tiny bit higher on it than I was then,
Mm,
but it's still not amazing.
yeah,
It does draw you another card the next turn, so it replaces itself in the future.
a lot of times rooting enemies is something that like rooting at heavy just pushes the problem to your next floor, but significantly worse, right? So
Mhm.
usually ensnaring isn't super good. I
You
find.
have to be careful about when you root,
Hmm
for sure.
Unless you just like take a bunch of roots and then ignore heavies, like we did in that one episode.
Mhm.
You can try that, I guess.
Don't. It's not a good plan.
It's terrible.
It's an extremely desperate plan.
Up next is the same card twice, Invigorating Solution and Preserve Thorns.
Except one is just
Better.
the Chad Thorns versus
It's
the invigorating solution.
yeah, it's Daniel and the cooler Daniel meme.
Hmm.
You've seen that one. It's yeah. So these cards do the same thing. Playing three
Yeah.
stings and drawing +3 next turn are both fine. Preserve Thorns, similar to Rail Spike, a card that you just like if you are going to skip, you just take Preserve Thorns instead because three stings is just good.
And Sting's got a lot better. We should talk about that probably.
Yeah, Sting got his damage doubled in the last patch.
Hmm. It's crazy, especially early to mid game, how big of a difference that makes.
Yeah,
Um, I don't know if we did, but I feel like we joked about how like 5 damage wasn't a lot of damage, but like it'd be hard to make it significant. Apparently, when you have three of them all at once, it's significant.
yeah. And the draw +1 is important as well. If you have like three
Mhm.
stings mixed in, you end up it feels like just drawing more cards because you typically are going to end up drawing like seven per turn, a few extra turns instead of the six or five or however many you would be drawing.
Mhm.
And you get to do that 10 damage, which is not negligible. Especially, and if you get one of the Sting relics, you just kind of go insane. Stings become like a heavy plan in themselves if you have enough.
Yeah.
And also, everything we said applies to Invigorating Solution, except for the part where you get to play Stings. Drawing 3 next turn is cool.
Yeah, it's still not bad.
Yeah. Uh, Pyro, we have to. It has been
Yeah,
completely
like, oh
reworked.
man.
What a change.
Pyro, I think it is the biggest power swing in a card.
Yeah, be careful
Like,
who you make fun of.
yeah, like it was bottom of the. We'll talk about it when we get to it in like 3 videos from now. But it was this and Molten Encasement are like our 2 actual straight up worst cards in the game, right?
Yeah, and
And they both are much better since then.
mm-hmm.
So like Pyro, like
Situationally, this card can be really bad for you if you have low draw.
and
Like,
already a bunch of energy.
yeah,
Or
like if you same thing as engine upgrade. If you picked energy from your boss reward, you probably don't take Pyro because 5 energy and 4 energy. The difference is very rare that it matters.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
I would argue that with Wingleton as your champion, though, you want a lot of energy because you're going to be drawing a lot of cards because Root Seeds gives you a lot of card draw. So the more energy you have, the more Root Seeds you play, the more cards you draw, etc., etc.
yeah, I don't know. I don't really. It's weird because we just talked and I talked great for Sting, and yet I don't feel that way about Root Seeds. I don't know. Root Seeds is just okay. I feel like investing in energy or root seeds, you're better off just investing in draw and removing the root seeds, honestly.
I don't know. I don't know.
That's how I feel. I mean, root seeds is just like it's a super minor effect of +2. We can talk about it when we get to root
Yeah,
seeds.
I'm sure it will. But
Uh,
I'm in camp I would say 95% of the time if you are if you have Root Seeds, you probably take Pyro because it's hard to not have enough energy when you're drawing that many cards because of the Root Seeds.
Maybe. The big problem is just there's the draw -2 on Pyro is a big downside if you're drawing. Drawing 3 cards in a turn is really bad. So you gotta
Oh
watch
yeah.
out. You combo this with cards that add draw to your next turn, and then it's like nothing. And in the worst case, it's just, oh, we have one bad turn, and then we have +1 energy for the rest of the combat. Same thing we just talked about with Rail Spike, right?
Mm-hmm.
Aggro is good. It's basically the same card as Engine Upgrade. You take it in the same spots now.
Mm-hmm. We Steel Enhancer got buffed, right?
Yeah.
Went from 1 to 0.
Yep, Steel Enhancer's a lot better.
Yeah.
As it turns out, making a card cost less makes it better.
Mm-hmm. And I feel like it works very well with Razor Sharp Edge too, which also got buffed.
Yeah, it did. That's right.
If you for some reason if you're playing something like what's it called Animus of Will and you have like no convenient way to give it more HP, give this holdover, give Razor Sharp Edge holdover. I don't know if you notice, you're netting 1 HP each time, so you're not gonna worry about your guy killing itself.
Yeah.
Not the best plan ever. I think you're better off usually just like slapping a large stone on your Animus instead. But when you can, if you don't get that large stone, if you don't get a good chunk of HP on it, I think Steel Enhancer can do the job for you.
Yeah, Steel Enhancer is a really weird card, I feel like. It's just one of those cards that it's really hard to tell in the first 2 rings. I said this about Ritual Battle moments ago, and by that I mean in the last video. But it's hard to tell if Steel Enhancer is going to be a card that's good for you until after 4-3. Like, it's hard to say if you're going to be committing to an Animus or if you're just going to have a dude with single strike, right?
Mm-hmm.
Without multi-strike, this is kind of bad, I think.
Also, I will say if your strategy is some sort of incant focus thing, especially with a Siren, Steel Enhancer is also really good.
Yeah, any card that costs 0 is good when you have incant as well. Good thing to note. It combos well with multi-strike, I guess. I don't know. I find myself very much bad. I don't really know how to feel about Steel Enhancer. There aren't a lot of cards that I'm just uncertain of how to feel about, I think. And I think the cards that I feel like I'm uncertain.
It's kind of weird, but like I feel like when you see Steel Enhancer and you know it's going to be good, you're like, oh, I know this is a card that I want. But I feel like the rest of the time you're like, because I guess you're not sure what you're playing yet, like in that early game. You don't know if Steel Enhancer is a good card or if it's a dud.
It's weird because it's like it's never gonna be bad for you. Like there are cards that are just, oh, this is unplayably bad for me, right? Like Snare is an example where it's like, oh man, I can't use this on this heavy or else it becomes very bad. Steel Enhancer is never inherently bad, but it's never really that good unless it's really, really good.
I mean, like with the new Seraph, I guess like you might not want to give him Incant, stuff like that.
Yeah,
So like
maybe.
there are fringe scenarios where playing it is bad, and I guess also what's it called, Arcus, with his
Well, yeah, yeah, you can
art
all.
card.
I mean, yeah, all every spell though has that like,
Yeah.
oh, you can incant things sort of
Mhm.
thing. I don't know. Steel Enhancer
Yeah.
is just like it's just so underwhelming. I think I don't know. +3/+3. It's fine, but I really don't have anything else to say other than yeah, it's usually fine.
hmm I still feel like there's specific situations where it is very good,
Yeah,
but
yeah, but like outside of those specific situations, how
oh
is this
yeah,
card on
outside of
average?
that, I don't take it.
Yeah, it's like,
Yeah.
but like you could probably also take it and still have it be fine. I don't know. It's really weird. It's a strange card.
Yeah.
Sting, we talked about with Preserve Thorns.
Yeah.
Sting, it's
Hooray,
good.
hooray, Sting! Good job.
Sting is good now. You can click this if there's not a better common in your pack.
I mean, I feel the same about Unleash the Wildwood, right? Like it's sort of like it invalidates all the other just bulk heal cards, basically. Still,
I have changed my opinion. I think Unleash the Wildwood is the worst heal card now.
wow, it's the worst. Worse than I guess they. I don't know. I don't think it's the worst.
Uh,
I think it's situationally like. Situationally is the best if you don't care about heal triggers, right? Or if you don't care about regen, you're just like, oh, I need a unit to not die. It does the most healing, but
yeah, but like here's
very
the
often you want the healing for all the other benefits that come with it.
yeah. What I find is that you're usually like the healing is just a side effect of what is or like more I guess more like playing this card versus something like focus growth. A lot of times you're not going to need to heal much more than that 25 health anyway, so you're just paying or you're just
hmm
losing out on that +2 draw. Right now obviously focus growth costs energy, this doesn't, but
hmm
I don't know. I find that bulk healing isn't something that you need that often because you usually just stack regen anyway.
Yeah, no, I'm in agreement there too. I feel like regen is generally the way to go if you want healing.
And like if you need bulk healing, you just pick one of the bulk healing cards instead of this one. I don't know.
I don't know. I've had times where I've still taken this, and like if you're like really desperate for rejuvenate triggers, it costs 0 and it rejuvenates.
Yeah, I find you know what else can cause 0 and rejuvenate? Restore.
Yeah, it's true. I've actually had this work pretty well for me with Incant, where I had to use Siren of the Sea as a tank.
Right. Then it's
And
good. Yeah.
I've just been like, it's a spell, so it's good. And then also, it's at full health now.
Yeah, Awoken is a clan with a lot of great stuff for incant. Probably the best clan to secondary if you're planning incant. It's just a lot of great stuff in this clan
Yeah,
for incanting. I
some good
just
choices.
I think Wildwood is not or Unleash the Wildwood. The other problem is that it's rare. So what are you missing for this card?
You probably have already found good healing cards before you see this. That's a good point too.
Yeah.
And then you don't need it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anything else you want to say about that bad boy?
No,
Okay. Vinegrass, I imagine our opinion hasn't changed on too much.
I'm a little less on Vinegrass for the same reason I'm a little less on Hornbreak now.
Yeah.
Unless you're a combo that really needs backline damage because you started with none, then you can take this, I guess. But even then, I'm not too happy about it.
Yeah, it's a card that does targeted damage, and sometimes you need that, and sometimes that movement to the front is kind of cool, but usually it's whatever.
hmm
Animus of Speed, Animus of Will.
I
Yeah,
feel like I still hate Animus of Speed. I feel like I hated it last time. I still do.
it's
I'm probably
okay.
a little high on Animus of Will because of the buff to Razor Sharp Edge.
Right.
And I maybe I rely too much on using Animus of Will as my DPS, but like
No, she's good. Multi-strike
it
too.
does the job well.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember what I used to think about it. I think I didn't like it as much, but now I'm like, hell yeah, Animus, great work.
Yeah. Animus of Speed is one that I've definitely I don't know like you can take multi strike and survive the early game, but it falls off. But you can like if you find multi strike, you can get there with Animus of Speed in a run that would otherwise fall apart because you didn't see anything good. But she's definitely one of the worst units here.
You try to channel song by Animus of Speed and then play
Uh,
to kill
uh,
Sarah.
no, never again. I don't want to. I don't want to think about that run ever again. That was maybe one of the hardest runs of this game I've ever played in my life.
How do you
Uh,
feel about Awoken? Any changes or Awoken Hollow? I mean, any changes about that?
Awoken Hollow, and Thorn Hollow. I think I've cooled on Thorn Hollow, and my Awoken Hollow feelings have gone up. I'm talking about them both right now because they're basically the
Yeah.
same unit in my mind. Uh, you just click this unit if you're playing a regen plan and you don't have
Mhm.
Rejuvenate Sentient.
Yeah.
It takes
Um.
multi strike better than the other guy, I guess, and he can
I
kill
still, I
heavies.
still, I still, I think like Thorn Hollow a little bit more still, but I'm definitely a little lower on Thorn, a little higher on Awoken, but I'm still overall higher on Thorn.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like you put multi strike on Awoken Hollow, and then you can kill heavies too if you're healing him enough. This seems okay at least.
Hmm.
Uh, Channel Song, it's the same card.
Yeah. Maybe I don't know. I
It's
don't like it.
it's the same card. It's fine sometimes, and usually just oh man, Channel Song. Why'd I draw you with my carry 2 turns in a row?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can part like the
Give it
mhm.
permafrost, please.
the Channel Song tech is just permafrost it and then skip your main carry, and then you
Hmm.
can play it for a +20/+20, and it's cool. You could also play it on Shadow Siege, I guess.
Yeah. Good luck.
Edgeprior,
You're a lot higher on this, I'm pretty sure, right?
yes, Edgeprior plus Restore is really good.
If you have seeds, do you take Edge Prior?
Oh god, no.
Okay.
I don't think you can play healing if you have Exile in your Awoken clan. Just healing isn't that good on that clan.
Okay.
It's like a whole different clan. Uh,
What if mm, what if you're not sentient main? What if you're like sentient but not exile sentient, so you have the restores, but you're I don't know, Hellhorn is your main. Do you
oh
take Edge
yeah,
Prior then?
I guess it depends because this is a character whose rarity is good for him. You can decide on if you're like by the time you see Edgeprior, you know if you're planning on regenning or not.
Okay.
The main use case for Edgeprior is you put him down behind Explosive Sentient, and then you just hyper thin the deck. And you can
Hmm.
do this as well with one of Awoken Hollow or Thorn Hollow. Probably Thorn Hollow might not scale fast enough though. But you just hyper thin the deck and then you just spam like 5 to 6 rejuvenate triggers per turn with Edgeprior making them all free. You take double draw and you just go insane. That's the
Okay.
idea. Edgeprior is it's like an energy upgrade in that deck anyway.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, he's better than he was in my mind.
I feel like I'm maybe a little lower than I used to be on Engraft. I feel like I went to bat for Engraft
Mm-hmm.
pretty hard when we first did this. I'm a little lower on it now. I think it's when it's good, it's still good. Um, the end.
Yeah, in that deck that I just described, Engraft is one of the best cards because you just care about triggering Rejuvenate.
Hmm.
Other than that, the card's pretty bad, I think.
Yeah.
A good card to consume on Diligent Seraph, I guess.
Yeah. True. True. True.
Uh, I don't think anything has changed about my takes on Glimmer.
Yeah. Still a early game backline champion.
Mm-hmm. My anger towards Husk Hermit has gone away. I remember he lost me my first run ever of this game, and now I don't hate Husk Hermit anymore because I'm over it.
Okay.
Husk Hermit,
How do you,
go on.
I was going to ask, how do you feel about him now?
He's good with. I think the best case is he's really good with that quick champion, Quick
Wendleton.
Wendleton. Yeah.
Hmm.
Like Quick Wendleton, you can use Husk Hermit to tank for him, and then Husk Hermit will wipe the back line, and Wendleton gets to just carry, and with Husk Hermit tanking, kind of cool.
Yeah.
Overall, you just put Quick on this guy, and then he kills backline, and it's cool. Fire Shards,
Again, be careful about what's it called? You know who?
Sap Seraph.
Sap
Yeah,
Seraph.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You got a plan for Sap Seraph.
Hmm.
Is this the most underwhelming card in the game?
There is a use case for Pyre Shards. God damn it.
Is it with Rage Prince?
Yes, that is it. That is the
Yes.
only time Pyre Shards is good, and in that situation, it's really good because like 4 spikes is enough.
Oh boy, it's as good as Sharpen.
Sharp is good too. Then fight me.
Yeah, Spikes is good with Rage Prince and
That
anything that slays. Like this is also good. I mean, if you want some secret tech, you combo this with a Paraffin Thug that you put a bunch of health on.
mm, yeah, okay, yeah.
And that's a
I
lot of
mean,
money.
it's a lot
It's
of money.
good with Harvest Rector as well. It's a backline killing plan.
Yeah.
But
But
you
like,
know,
yo,
yeah,
Wrathful Prince though. Oh
yeah.
baby.
Wrathful Prince is the big one. Honestly, I actually had this pop up last night. I was just putting a bunch of armor onto Slay Prince because
Uh-huh.
and then I just gave him spikes, and then he started slaying backline too.
Oh, cool.
You can basically spikes is good if you have something that slays or harvests.
Hmm.
And that's it. Otherwise, typically this card is just bad.
Usually.
Usually. Hey, it's Razor Sharp Edge.
Pretty good.
Yeah, this is tied, I think, with a certain other common for the best common card in Awoken.
Oh, I see it. It's right over there.
It's right over there. Root Seeds.
Okay, yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
I will say it's a little. I mean, both Razor Sharp Edge and Wildwood Sap are both conditional.
hmm
I think that Razor Sharp Edge is a little more conditional though.
Yes.
Um,
Well, you typically just give this -1 holdover, and then you pump up a unit with multi strike to win the game.
it doesn't even need multi strike. If you have a lot of health on it, you can just
Yeah.
or enough health to not die quickly from the Razor Sharp Edges. You can
Yeah.
still get it to work.
In the early game, you just put it onto whoever is your tank, and then once you get a unit with multi strike, you pump up the multi strike unit.
Hmm.
Typically, and that's fine. Razor
It's
Sharp
pretty
Edge is
cool.
good. I have absolutely nothing to say different about Restoration Detonation.
Yeah, it's the same.
This card has changed not at all in my. Uh,
Voix, I want you to tell me right now that Restore is better than Dreg, you coward. Do it.
No, okay, look.
Do it.
This is one of those things where people are like, you gotta admit, like, so you'll be watching one of those runs where I'm just blowing up enemies with Restore, and you'll be like, you gotta admit that Restore is better than Dreg, and then I go, but like, contextually here, yes, but on average, nah, it's like Dreg's better on average.
How dare you?
Contextually, Restore is a really, really strong card, or it's just worthless. Dreg is always you get what you pay for, which is a unit that goes away very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I probably if we were to do the starter card tier list again, I think Torch would be my S tier card.
You son of a bitch.
I gotta give it to you straight.
I'm still team Restore, but like, it's still a respectable opinion either way.
But here's the deal: outside of Awoken, if you're playing like Hellhorn secondary or Hellhorn main, and you're playing a bunch of armor, Restore is a dead card.
Yeah.
Uh, Drag is a dead card, but at least it removes itself, right? You want to make the
True.
comparison.
True. That is true. That is extremely a true part of that sentence.
It's just like when Restore is good, it's crazy, but outside of the crazy times, it's just fine. Like
I
get
mean,
rid of it.
moving on to Root Seeds, I think Root Seeds is like at the very least middle or upper middle of the pack. I like Root Seeds.
I don't know. I'm underwhelmed by Root Seeds.
I mean, it's tough because you don't feel the impact of it, but drawing cards is cool.
Yeah,
I've had times where I have legit like because I had money to spend and nothing to upgrade. I've lowered the cost and gave Root Seeds holdover before. I've done that.
I mean, I guess it's
It-
it's fine, right? In that situation, it's just free +2 attack to a unit every turn.
yeah,
My opinion on Root Seeds is that over the course of the combat, you don't feel that +2 too much, and what this card really reads to me is it's just like converting energy to cards next turn, which is fine.
yeah, yeah.
It's just
It,
fine.
it's cool. Everyone loves them.
Yeah, I don't think that this is something that you pick energy for because like I said, you're converting your energy into draw. Instead of
Mhm.
doing that, you can just take draw, in my opinion. However, it's fine for what it is, right? Sometimes you get to burst out like
Mhm.
8 card draws and you get to draw through your deck really quick. Sometimes turning energy into draw is really important if you have a critical card to hit, like you have to reform a Burnout Rector or something like that.
Mhm.
It's fine. It's better than Frozen Land, probably.
Has your thought on Shard Channel changed? Because I'm probably a little lower on it than I was last time, but I don't remember what I was on it last time.
Short Chandler is fine. You play him with Spike Sentient, basically.
Or Thorned Hollow.
Yeah. Like, Thorn Hollow's kind of like whatever. I don't think you need him with Thorn Hollow.
Yes, then yeah, that's fair.
Because typically, if you have Thorn Hollow, you're probably going to have Spike Sentient anyway, unless you have, like, I don't know, Wendleton, but then you're having a different run than I've ever had.
Yeah, that's not when you take Thorned Hollow, probably.
No. No. Shattered Shell, I feel like we have. Uh, I have had a change of heart on as well.
I think I was a little higher than you were on Shattered Shell last time, maybe, but I don't
Yeah,
remember too well.
Shattered Shell can carry you for sure. They
Mm.
upped his slay, I think, didn't they? They went and took him from +2 to
Two to
+3.
2 to 3, yeah,
That
not
was
a huge
a.
deal, but like
I,
not insignificant either.
it's a big. I think it's a big change. Yeah. You give him multi strike and he can carry you if you throw some razor sharps at him.
He also can just be Husk Hermit if you need him to be. That's what his job is. He can do that too.
Yeah, I think that this unit, similar to Husk Hermit, got a lot better because Wendleton has the quick path on him.
Yeah, also very true.
Turns out that giving sweep units quick is good, and not having to pay the upgrade slots even better. Who knew?
hmm
Thorn Hollow, I think we kind of covered. If you have anything you want to
Yeah,
say,
no,
okay. Vine Mother has been changed. She's fine.
more health. Stings got better, so she is better now.
Yeah, this is a unit that you don't skip. There's not a great reason to unless you're going to go over on draw priority.
Yeah, if you
Uh,
really need a specific draw priority unit early, then don't take it because you might get her first, and then you know.
mhm.
Like if you, I would say if you're like Umbra, maybe you don't want to take this because you really need to like get your Gorge units down ASAP so they can start eating shit.
Yeah, that's
So
a good point.
other than that, like my mother's pretty good, and like she's got a respectable amount of HP now, so like she can tank for a bit if you need her to.
Yeah, she's one of the better two space tanks in this clan. Downside is that she doesn't scale. The other two space tank in this clan is Husk Hermit. Uh, Also worth noting, she does hard counter Seraph the Diligent for you if you have a problem with
Yeah,
that boss.
it's
Uh,
pretty cool.
I don't have anything interesting to say about Wildwood Custodian. Drawing cards is good.
Yeah, you're more or less trading a space on one of your floors for an upgrade, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, Wildwood Custodian is like engine upgrade with maintenance. You
Mm-hmm.
gotta keep it alive. Wildwood Sap.
Snap.
I have nothing new to say. This card is good.
It's busted.
Regen is good. Wow. Stacking 30 regen kills Seraph. Who would have thought?
What do you think is stronger, Sap or Welder Helper?
Uh,
It's tough, right? It's a little tough. You gotta think about it.
yeah, probably Welder Helper.
Uh, I think in a vacuum, Sap is better, but I think Welder Helper does do grosser things when it all works out.
And the problem is that Welder Helper can make a unit with 30 health kill Seraph and Sap can't.
That is true. Hmm.
You can't stack there are units that you can't
Oh,
stack Wildwood Sap on.
I figured it out. So
Mm-hmm.
Welder Helper can do that with a 30 HP unit, but it can't do it with an 80 HP unit, probably. Sap can.
Why can't Welder Helper?
Because it might be like a unit like, the Hollows, where it needs that rejuvenate trigger to actually do it.
I guess that's fine, but I don't know. Welder Helper can also just you can't use Wildwood Sap to survive sweep either for like Tethys dying
Oh
to
yeah,
sweep,
that's true. That's true.
things
That
like
is
that as
extremely
well.
true.
I think that Welder Helper is more versatile. Is all.
Oh, also true. Yeah.
Wildwood Sap may be better when it works, but I'd rather probably plan around Welder Helper. Assuming that it's like, which one do you want to have to plan around to kill Seraph off of? I'd rather just do Welder Helper because it's easier. You can't put I mean, I guess you can technically put Endless on Wildwood Sap with Remove Consume,
hmm
but it's not the same.
How? Yeah, it's not. I mean, endless when you have the ability to kill the imp, it has that. It's
Yeah,
it's 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 endless and holdover.
yeah, yeah, and it's only one energy.
hmm
But if you're asking me which one of these cards I'd rather times 5, it's probably Wildwood Sap.
Okay.
All right. Wildwood Tome. Quick is a good effect.
Little redundant now with Windleton existing.
Mm-hmm. It's mostly something you put on like champions outside of your clan, namely
Yeah.
Quick Tethys with Sweep is good.
hmm
Uh, yeah, Adaptive Mutation.
I mean, when we did this first, we probably didn't realize that this kind of comboed well with Rage.
Mm-hmm.
So
Definitely.
something like Wrathful Prince loves adaptive mutation.
Mm-hmm.
Outside of that, though, I don't like the idea of trying to give your what's it called hollow double strike and mutation have it be a DPS unit now. I don't like that at all.
No.
That's such a gimmicky plan. That's like you have much better and easier ways of doing that plan. It just doesn't feel worth it.
Yeah, the problem with Adaptive Mutation is that, like, in theory, this can be really strong. Uh, the idea that people will come at me with a lot is like, oh well, the sentient has like 200 base health if you go all the way on revenge, and then you just give her like two razor sharp edges, and then you adapt a mutation, and boom, you have a 200 attack, 20 health unit. And I'm like, yeah, sure, but like, what if instead of that I just didn't do that? Because what are you doing for the like in the magical Christmas land, to take us back to how we used to talk about these cards. Adaptive
Mhm.
Mutation is probably one of the strongest cards in the game, right? You just stack up a bunch of health and then go crazy. But in reality, let me put it like this: I did it with Harvest Rector, where I would just like harvest him up a bunch on the +4 +20, and then I'd swap him with Adaptive Mutation. And when I did that, I was like, wow! And now he has like the stat line of Burnout Rector. This isn't really
Mhm.
that good.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work for something that in the end is going to be underwhelming while heavies walk past you because your main damage dealer has just a lot of health and nothing else. And it's rare. But it goes well
Yeah.
with rage.
Mhm.
That's it.
Have you ever gotten it to actually work outside of that? Because I feel like one time I made it actually kind of work in that weird sort of like, because I think I had a sketches run. That's what it was. I had a sketches run. I gave both of my animus, or not both of my animuses. I gave both of my hollows double multi strike, and then like if I got lucky and one of them was in the back line, I would give it adaptive mutation.
Huh. That seems good.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's like the one time where that kind of works out, but like
uh,
it
the
wasn't that, it
har-
wasn't that great.
the Harvest Rector plan that I did, it did not win. I lost that run. I think that I did it once with an Awoken Hollow that I just put behind the Sentient as a DPS with Multi Strike, and that run was a loss as well. So I think no, I haven't. Not very good, I don't think. Uh, Bramblelash card does the same thing.
Yeah.
Focus growth. You want to say something about Bramblelash?
Um, I'm a little like maybe a tiny bit less on Bramble Ash now, just because like it's a lot of setup to get it to actually kill heavies for you. You need like a lot of spikes to not a whole lot, I guess, but like
You need like 15. You play this with Spike Sentient or you don't play it
yeah,
at
yeah,
all.
I think so. But then even then, I've had trouble. You need two copies of it. You need to like give it holdover maybe, and then like duplicate it, and then it's useful.
Mm-hmm.
Also,
It's,
probably lower the cost, and then you're smooth sailing because you'll kill the heavies. But it's very easy if you're not set up correctly for people to leak past you.
yeah, for sure. It's fun. That's one of the only spells in this clan to kill enemies, but it is like you do have to have things go right for it to work. But
Mhm.
it's good and it works. Focus growth, sure.
Yeah, I
Healing.
had a really cool run with focus growth where I had split anvil and I just didn't lower the cost on it and gave it holdover.
Mm-hmm.
And it was sick. I didn't care about the health. I just was like using it to make all the rest of the cards in my hand free.
Right. Okay.
Because I set my deck up so all of my spells cost one. Uh, and then I gave it holdover. I was drawing 8 cards a turn. It was beautiful.
Yeah, that seems good.
Um, split anvil plus expensive card plus draw extra cards is cool.
And plus holdover, yeah, it's really good.
Yeah.
Holdover plus an expensive spell can be very strong with Split Anvil.
Mhm.
Uh, I think this is better than Unleash the Wildwood, as we talked about it earlier. I think that this is the +2 is better. It's worth the 2 energy to pay. Uh,
I think there are situations where it is worse, obviously, but I wouldn't. It is probably a better card overall. I think there's like maybe it's like a 70-30 thing where 70% of the time this is better, but 30% of the time you're in a situation where uh, Unleash the Wildwood is better. But I don't know.
I so something that I think this is I guess this is the opinion that I'm gonna hit you with here for why I feel like Unleash the Wildwood is bad is usually if your plan falls apart if you don't have a way to heal your units up, your plan's probably gonna fall apart to bosses anyway since you can't heal them up.
Mhm.
And it like if you need burst healing, then you just take whatever burst healing card they show you anyway. Uh, but typically, like you need burst healing to survive until the regen starts to kick in. But if your regen isn't scaling fast enough, you're probably not going to beat the bosses anyway. Which is
Mhm.
why I think you end up in this position where I just think that the burst healing doesn't matter that much. You
I've
just
had
play it
I've
for the
had times
effect.
where it saved me though from something like let's say for example, Seraph the Temperament. In
Mm-hmm.
that fight, the waves do a lot of damage, but I've
Yeah.
had like strong, like very strong DPS in the back line where it's like I just need to survive till relentless and I'll win. But my tank is just taking so much damage, and I've had times where like putting holdover on Unleash has saved me there.
Yeah. Sure. That
But
can
that's
work.
that's like I wouldn't say it's fringe, but I would say it's not
Yeah,
not all the time.
yeah, sure. Uh, yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Restoring retreat kind of sucks.
yeah. I don't know if I've ever gotten this to actually. I feel like the use case for restoring retreat is just to overstack a floor.
Yeah.
I don't find myself using it on enemies too often. It costs two. Like,
A lot of the this is another card that you could put up for like one of the most underwhelming cards in this game. A lot of the time I look at this card and I go, God, I wish this didn't say descend. I really need to heal my unit right now.
yeah.
And usually I only have this card when I start with it. I don't think I've ever picked this outside of like
I have picked it out of desperation to find a way to move units together on the same floor.
yeah, I've played it to move units as well. Come to think of it, it's good for moving units onto the same floor, I guess.
Hmm.
Uh,
When you need that effect to make your strategy work, this is what it is. Using it for healing 10 or using it to navigate enemies usually isn't that useful.
yeah, I agree. Sharpen, see the other one.
Yeah, I mean my opinion has changed because my opinion has changed about spikes on slay
Mm-hmm.
units, but other than that, pretty bad.
Yeah, spreading spores got worse.
Yeah,
The
rip
nerf,
double stack.
yeah, the nerf to double stack made spreading spores a little worse. Now you make this -1 holdover, and you go insane off of that if it's your regen plan. This does not synergize super well if your plan is to just like hyper remove and play a bunch of single use heal cards to trigger like explosive sentient a bunch. This card's not
Mm-hmm.
great for that, but usually it just wins you the game if you can make it work still. Even though they nerf double stack. Another way, probably the other common way to make spreading spores work is to give it 2 -1s and then duplicate it twice, and then it scales really fast.
Yeah.
There's just like a blank space here. I don't know. I've never seen this card somehow. What is this thing after spreading spores?
Oh, that's awake, dude.
Oh, it's awake.
Yeah.
Ah. Awake got nerfed since we last talked about this card. It used to be 4 regen.
And now it's 3.
Oh no. Anyway.
It's kind of a big deal. It's kind of funny, but like ever since it got nerfed, I was like, oh boy, awake 3 more regen. Like you really do play it for the regen. It's like if you're
You
really
do.
desperate for more regen, like you can do this.
This is
I
probably, in my opinion, the best big healing card.
that I think I'm a little bit higher on focus growth over it.
You think so? I don't know. The draw 2 feels weak compared to regen 3.
I think it's the base cost of 2 that does it for me.
Yeah, I don't know. You just drop. I think you just give awake 2 -1s and then it costs 1, and the card's crazy. Duplicate it a few times and you can win.
Mm-hmm.
But typically, if you're going regen, I don't find myself going awake for my regen plan that often. I don't know about you.
I mean, I usually go for Wildwood Sap, but like
Yeah,
if
if
I
you
only
miss
have
it.
1 or 2 in the deck, right, I'll take a Awake to try to help. Especially because in the early game, my units might be taking some damage because they don't have that high of a regen count.
Mm-hmm. The big thing is if you miss Wildwood Sap and you don't see Spreading Spores, but you still need to go regen. But even then, I feel like you might be better off double stacking Restore and just committing to that. Like double stack -1 and then duplicate the Restore that you double stacked. It might be better.
Well, I mean, if you just lowered the cost of Awake twice, that would be better.
It's true.
Yeah, like looking at the actual stats on the cards, right? Like
It's
if you
true.
double stack lower cost, it's 2 healing, 2 regen versus 30 healing, 3 regen for the same cost.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. But, I guess that line with the Restore is also if you miss Awake. But, then maybe just don't go regen and maybe just don't play the game today.
Yeah.
Might just be the wrong day.
Can we go back to Sapwood because I do want to talk about it?
Yeah. All right, we can talk about Wilting Sapwood. They did buff this card, by the way. Do you remember what they buffed on this?
Nope.
They gave it +10 attack.
Oh, cool.
That's what you really want on your Wilting Sapwood.
So let me tell you about my favorite thing to do with Mr. Sap.
Okay.
So you know your good friend Hot Shark.
I have heard of him.
I call this man Hot Sap. I literally I just give him endless. I throw him on the bottom floor. He gets murdered, and I just keep replaying him, and I go double card draw.
Okay. I mean, that seems good.
My enhancements, and it's real cool.
The
I
problem
play all my cards.
The problem with Wilting Sapwood is I think I have seen this unit maybe 3 times in the last 3 months, and I probably picked it twice.
Hmm.
I had a really good run with it where I used it to offset a bunch of Ember Drain on Penumbra.
Cool.
I played a bunch of Ember Drain cards and then Sap would offset it, but like I never see this fucking card. And
I'm telling you, hot sap, dude.
every time I see it, I am already like on a different plan, and I go like, I can't fit this in here. That's like 4 draw priority units. You can't take this here. That's too much. This card, if Deranged Root is a card that makes me think you could see, you couldn't see rare cards more often because they'd be too strong. Wilting Sapwood's a card that makes me go, yeah, you could see rare cards more often. This unit is not that exciting. Like the rare units in this plan are not very exciting. They are just okay.
Just put endless on him, dude.
Like I don't know, Shark with endless kills backline. This is just like, hey, I have more energy.
It's in my opinion, it's like a better Ember Forge because you give him endless, and then he just never. You draw him back when he dies. You get him back, you play him, and then that's all you got to do.
Honestly, it sounds like it's either really good or horrible, but I can't tell because I can never play that because I can never see this unit.
No,
this is that unit I've never seen. Like I see it so infrequently. And finally,
rest in peace, Cycle of Life.
They gutted this card. I can't believe it.
4 to 3 spikes.
Oh my god! And they nerfed double stack. Like, oh, Cycle of Life. Poor boy, poor baby.
In all honesty, I am lower on Cycle of Life than I was before.
Really, I'm higher.
You're higher.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I have won a few runs where I just use Cycle of Life to stack a bunch of health onto Wendleton.
I haven't played with Cycle of Life and Wendleton yet together. I don't have ever seen those two together at the same time.
The big problem so the reason that Cycle of Life isn't good is because regen is a better plan. In Exile Awoken, you don't really get to play regen, so Cycle of Life becomes a lot better, I think, in that situation, because increasing max HP can be really strong.
What's your plan with it? Do you go double cost down, or do you go cost 1 holdover? What do you do?
I've done both, and they're both okay. With Incant, you probably do like double cost down and then just take a bunch of draw. I think it's also one of the better cards to have Lightstone Casing with, so you can have 3 upgrade slots, because then you can get 2 cost downs and then hold over. That's cool. You can just spam this onto the quick version of Wendleton and then super buff him with like a bunch of razor sharp edges or whatever, and then he'll have enough health to fight Seraph, I find.
Okay, that's cool. I like it.
It's fine. Cycle of Life is a little bit better now. They could take the spikes off of this card, honestly. The biggest buff they could do to Cycle of Life is probably just remove the spikes and make it 2 energy.
Interesting.
I mean, they have printed a card that says spikes on it that is worse than Sharpen, because if you're either playing this for the health or the spikes, right? Same thing for Sharpen. You're probably just playing this for the spikes. So like, why are you playing this rare card for spikes? I don't know.
Yeah, I will say if you wanted the spikes on it, if you're that desperate for spikes, by the time you see any rare cards, you've probably already lost the game.
Yeah, like it's really weird because there's like a spikes archetype in here, but also all of the spikes cards are horribly overcosted. Sharpen should it could be 1 cost easily. Spreading Spores has spikes on it. I always forget that because I just read that card as regen.
Yeah.
Cycle of Life has spikes, and then I don't know. Say the spikes is like this clan's rage, I feel like, where it's only really useful situationally. But then also there's a unit there's like two specific units, a champion and a unit in the clan that just go crazy with spikes, right?
Yeah.
Same thing as rage. It's really the same mechanic when you get right down to it. There's even a rare card that enhances it. Wow.
I never thought about that, but that is basically correct.
They're almost parallel, right? If there were just a few better spikes application cards, you could do some crazy stuff. Yin and yang. I feel like I don't know. Like, this is a mechanic that just is a nightmare to even imagine how you would balance it. How do you make spikes better without making it just completely busted?
You give a new Awoken unit a slay trigger, but have it be not super impactful. But also have that unit be capable of being a tank.
Oh, you know what could be cool?
Like you slay for like plus 2 HP or something like
Honestly, maybe just slay plus 2 spikes could be fun.
I don't know.
Hey, wait, that's just Little Fade.
Yeah, what are you doing? Come on, dude.
Wait a minute. Wait, the best spiked unit in the game is in Melting now. I forgot.
I mean, yeah, actually, kind of.
For real. Like, oh, wow. Yeah, hey, just move Little Fade over to Awoken. I figured it out.
Have you played with Little Fade and Spike Channel already together yet? How does that?
Yes,
You
I
think that'd be
have.
cool?
I did that, and then I overpowered Chase Seraph with it.
Wow.
Yeah, so what
Pretty
happens
cool.
is your Fade just dies every round, and then you reform her, but like since she reforms with full spikes. And
Yeah,
then
yeah.
she just does like 600 damage every time Seraph hits her. It's crazy.
It's pretty cool.
It is good, yes. Alright. I think that's it.
Yes.
Okay. I said this one was gonna be shorter and it was longer. I think we
Was it
only
longer, really?
Yeah, it was 5 minutes longer.
Oh, god damn it.
If past trends are anything to go by, the Stygian one should be 3 hours.
Oh no.
Alright. You wanna say goodbye?
Goodbye.
Yeah. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.
Like
Yeah.
the video. You gotta let
Yeah,
them like the video.
yeah, yeah. Thumbs up and also subscribe. And also there'll be a link down below to go watch Cranberry on Twitch, but he's probably not going to be live.
Probably. I mean, who knows when we're uploading these, right?
It's probably going to be like 11:30 a.m. if I were to guess.
Oh, I will almost definitely not be streaming.
Yeah, it's going to be my expected upload time, but who knows? Maybe it's like, I don't know, midnight. You never know.
Maybe it's like 2:15 on a Wednesday, huh?
Ooh, it could be 2:15 on a Wednesday. All right. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Go follow Cranberry on Twitch as well. We'll see you in the next one.
All of Voyage on Twitch.
Yeah, you can do that if you want.